What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today we are previewing the New York Jets against the Tennessee Titans. The Jets 0-1 after a disappointing week 1 loss. Short week, have to go on the road to Tennessee to play this one. Let's get into everything you need to know. Today's preview show is brought to you by BetUS. Sign up using the promo code YouTube150 and you can receive a 150% match deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. If you want to take a look at the lines for the Jets-Titans matchup on the money line, which means an outright pick, the New York Jets are minus 180. Point spread, the New York Jets are favorite, so minus 3.5 at minus 105. So if you want to play the Jets against the spread, you click there, you put in a number, and then it's so easy to place your bet as so. We'll get into my picks later in the video. So for the Tennessee Titans, they start out the year 0-1. Their defense played really well in week 1. A strong effort against Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. They did not allow a touchdown against defensively. The Bears scored 2 touchdowns in the game. One was a pick 6, and the other was a punt return blocked for a touchdown, add a couple field goals, and then what do you know? Unfortunately, for the Titans, at least, unfortunately for the Titans, they lose a game where their defense doesn't allow a touchdown. That's a really tough outing for a defense, but I thought they played really well. They have some guys who can get after the quarterback. Justin Simmons is going to be the name to watch on the interior. That's someone that I have circled. They added some corner help in free agency. They are a sneaky underrated defense. So it's not going to be a cakewalk offensively for the New York Jets. They'll have their work cut out for them. At the same time, it's not at the level of the San Francisco 49ers defense, or maybe like a team like the Ravens, or so on and so forth. But still, Titans above average defense. I would say they are a good defense, and it's again not going to be a cakewalk there, as displayed by their performance in week 1. As a team, the Tennessee Titans ran for 140 yards and averaged 5.4 yards per carry in their week 1 win over the Chicago Bears. That is an adjustment the New York Jets have to make, because while they allowed 180 yards on the ground in week 1 and looked awful in the run game, Robert Saleh is convinced the New York Jets defense can get right. He knows what they have to do to fix the run game. Well, it's going to be put to the test almost immediately, as Tony Pollard and company is going to come into town, and they have 2 running backs that they could utilize in the run game. Both guys looked good, so I was going to say cautiously optimistic, but because I think the Jets could get right. But similar to the defense, it's not a cakewalk game. This is not a spot where you're like, oh, well, Tennessee stinks, the Jets are going to win 30-3. The Jets are the better team. They're favored, but they're favorites in this game, and they're favored, but they still have to take care of business and make some major adjustments. The big one being they can't have a repeat performance defensively like they did against the run. So here's the good news, though. DeAndre Hopkins is nowhere close to 100% healthy. He's their number 1 receiver. It looks like he's playing on one leg, which is sad because, unfortunately you see these guys get older and, there's only so much of a shelf life these players have. But Hopkins does not look like the same guy that he was for most of his career. He was good for them last year. No disrespect to Hopkins. He just doesn't look 100% healthy, which is an issue because after that, it's basically just Calvin Ridley. They don't have a ton after that. They brought in Boyd in free agency, who's, an okay receiver. They also have, a first round pick from a couple years ago, taken just right after Garrett Wilson and Treylon Burks. That pick hasn't really necessarily worked out. So the passing weapons isn't a ton to write home about, but the big thing for me is Will Levis and how turnover prone he is, and how Will Levis literally lost the game for the Tennessee Titans with just a disastrous interception that was returned for a touchdown. Completely changed the game. In 10 games so far in his career, he has 6 interceptions and has 8 fumbles. That is an absurd rate of turnovers. So I would expect the New York Jets defense to give Levis fits. It's not the same unit that was against Chicago. Chicago is an improving defense. I know the Jets didn't put out a good defensive performance in week 1, but I think they'll be able to do enough to make Will Levis's life pretty hard. Again, he kind of plays the quarterback like a madman. And I think you could bait him into making some mistakes. So from that perspective, I think the Jets are in line to bounce back defensively. And the Jets really need this game. They can't afford to drop to 0-2 and then come home on a short week to play New England. The Jets are playing 3 games in a very tight stretch. They played on Monday night, then it's Sunday, and then it's a short week on Thursday. It's kind of like in 2018 when the Jets started out with the same thing. Week 1, they went on the road to Detroit on Monday night, and then it was home against the Dolphins, and then they went on the road to the Cleveland Browns. They started 1-2. The Jets they won their first game. The Jets can't afford to get off to a 1-2 start this year. They need to be 2-1 after their first 3 games. This is a stretch of their schedule where they should be able to stack some wins because of the quarterback matchups that they're going up against, but still, once again, like, you need a bounce back performance, more of a push on the defensive line, because you know they're going to be running the football, and they got to figure out a way to generate a pass rush, which is something they did not do in week 1. Offensively, for me, it's about getting in a rhythm, not so predictable with the run game. It was very much so run, pass in week 1 for Nathaniel Hackett and company, which is, again, it was frustrating. I didn't think it was the best game plan from the Jets, and I hope week 1 was kind of just the anomaly. We'll see. Obviously, that's TBD, but this should be an opportunity again for the Jets to bounce back. And, as a reminder, I've talked about it already, but I'm watching this game from the Beach Gallery in Keansburg, New Jersey. It's free to go. So if you are in the area in New Jersey and want to hang out with me, I'll be there. I'm doing a pregame show with my guy, Connor Long, so I'll be live streaming before the game to about 12:30. Then I'll be out hanging out, before the kickoff and watching the game there and just, getting after it. And I'll do my post-game video from there. So if you want to hang out, come on out to the Beach Gallery. The owner of the new restaurant is a Jets fan. So support local business, support other Jets fans, and come and hang out. All right, let's do my stat predictions. I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers goes 22-31, completes 71% of his passes. He only threw the ball 21 times last week. I think that number is going to go up. I have him at about 235 passing yards, I'll say. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Really productive outing from Aaron Rodgers in week 2. Garrett Wilson, I think, is going to be more of a focal point in the offense. I got him at 8 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Last week, it was the Allen Lazard show. He had 2 touchdowns, and the one from Aaron Rodgers was just a thing of beauty. I also think Tyler Conklin gets more involved, and he gets the additional touchdown. Before I do my score predictions, I saw some comments last week asking, where's Casey? And I appreciate that. I love that you guys loved watching Casey make her picks with me. So she's doing well. I just don't live with Casey anymore. She was my sister's dog, really. So when I got the house, Casey didn't come with, but she's doing well, and she's still going left and picking the away team every single time. So we can assume she's taking the Jets against the spread this week. I am 0-1 against the spread. I picked the Jets to cover the 4-point spread, but lose in week 1. So with a straight up record, I guess I'm right. I got that the Jets would lose right, but against the spread, they did not cover. So can the Jets cover a 3.5-point spread this week? I say yes. I have the Jets winning 27-17. Again, I think the Jets are going to give Will Levis some problems and steal a possession or two, which will lead to more points. I know I just talked about how the Titans defense, is a little bit underrated, but I think the Jets steal some possessions off of Will Levis turnovers. I think the Titans score on the ground, and I think they have a relatively good day on the ground. I don't think they'll go for $130. But I think they'll be productive and will be able to score. Again, I'm not saying like this is going to be a 30-3 game. I think it's close for a little bit, and then the Jets pull away in the second half. So that's my prediction. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.